How's it going, guys? This is Tom back with Breakless TV, and I'm here with my co-host Johnson, and we're gonna do a little commentary for you on this number one rated Lash. How's it going,
Let's get
Johnson?
into it.
What are you looking
It's going good. Let's get into it.
at? So I partially picked Lash because he's got we're gonna kind of go around the whole game here, but we'll start here for the laning phase. I partially picked Lash because he's got um, good searchability on YouTube right now, but also I know Johnson's been playing some Lash, and I love some Lash. I like this little position he's in here. I'm sure this Yamato's expecting it.
Yeah, he's looking for height to get that extra damage. The other really nice thing about Lash is he's really fun to watch play. It's very unique.
Oh yeah, very flashy. I like that. That was a total guess from Lash there, right? Like he didn't
I
see
think
his lane
so.
apartment opponent at all. That was pretty
Unless
sick.
he saw her icon on the map and had a guess based on where the minions were, but I didn't see it. So yeah, total guess.
Yeah, that was very sick. Gets all of them, and actually he's gonna go back and let's see if we can. Yeah, he's going back up here. It looks like I see he's probably gonna do this every. Wow, man, I think he's guessing for all of these. This is impressive.
Yeah, it's very good aggression though, and I think it also just helps him clear his minion wave too. He's going for extra damage. I think that's something you see a lot in higher levels of play. People are leveraging incremental damage on their opponent while not missing any minions. I think that's a sign of a very high level player.
Yeah, and it looks like he maybe missed. No, I don't think he's missed any. Yeah, I thought. I mean, excellent start to lane. I thought that Lash might struggle in this lane. I think Yamato's an extremely good laner, especially in this patch. So this is nice to see.
Especially with her recent kit changes. She has a lot more survivability. Her ult is a lot more useful now, I think.
Yeah, I think this will probably end up being more difficult once we get to the 3K soul area. Do you have a lane that you like with Lash specifically? To be honest with you, when I played him a lot, I was much newer at the game, so I wasn't doing all this climbing the building stuff. But I mean, that seems like a pretty good spot for him. I don't know how he manages the other lanes.
I think that, at least in my limited experience, I think solo lane's probably a really good place for him, just because a lead with Lash is something that's very easy to leverage, and it's even easier to leverage a lead over one singular other person who's the only other one in the lane you have to outperform.
Yeah, kind of less to worry about. Although I imagine if you get a slam on two people, that's a nightmare.
It's
So he started,
double the lead.
yeah, started extra spirit here. Gonna go do his camp, which is excellent. That camp comes up at 2 minutes. You should be trying to do it as often as possible, as long as you're not missing minions for it.
Extra Spirit's an interesting choice. I think that's probably for regen, maybe? Regen. Oh, he got burst as well. So
Yeah.
burst is going to help him a lot.
Yeah, the extra spirit does have 1 health regen on it, which is a lot. Like, you'd be really surprised.
It's interesting to see the types of items that higher tier players pick, because they're going back for things that are going to give them more longevity in the lane as well, rather than just that extra damage
or just longevity.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised he's chasing this. I don't think I definitely wouldn't have chased that. I would have just stayed there and cleared the wave. But man, he's being really difficult to deal with here.
And you'll notice he didn't miss any creeps either. He got them all. He missed one right there. That was unfortunate.
But that's incredible. It's just the mindfulness to know that he can go in there and face the kill, and he's not going to miss a minion for it. I wonder if the minion was low, if he would have like stopped for just a second to try to grab it. It's getting the minions is so important. I think that's the easiest thing for newer players to miss, is how important it is to get every single minion in lane every single time. And he's using this he uses this zip every time to go to shop and to come back from shop for a little bit of extra speed. So you can see why he's the best Lash. I mean, this has been immaculate play, and I picked a match at random from their replays, so we could have seen one where they get dunked in lane, but I imagine they probably do pretty well.
Yeah, there's a tech that I've seen a couple of people do that I'm wondering if he's going to do it, and it's for extra damage on this camp that will spawn in just a few minutes here, that you can use the zip line to get a little bit of extra damage when you start the camp with Lash.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, he gets those boxes in there. I love those 2 little boxes. I get those all the time. If you're really ahead in lane, I find it better to, if you don't think, like, she's full health, he's probably not going to kill this Yamato. Interesting, this pocket comes over. I wonder if he came over to soak the wave with Lash. But if you're really ahead and, you don't think you're just going to be able to run in and kill her, just get those extra boxes, get these little golden statues. They really add up. And the boxes are worth a lot of souls if they drop them.
Yeah, priority definitely for the minions. And then if you're getting ahead, it makes it, and they're pushed under tower, that's an easy way to keep up and farm if it's starting to get harder to farm those minions because they're so pushed up.
I wonder if he's going to try to take this little side camp over here. I think it's a little slow for Lash to do, but we'll see. What was that? It felt like he did a little fast slide there. But,
yeah.
I'm surprised he hasn't ulted yet. I would have imagined that he would have tried to go for a kill with it, but I'm sure this Yamato is paying attention. And she's close to her ult, and once she gets her ult, he's not going to be able to do it anymore. She'll just, their ults will cancel out. Maybe he's saving it for a team fight. I'm also surprised he hasn't rotated. But maybe that's more of a guess for me, that I figured he would, a higher level Lash would look for these rotates. Like, right here, we got Yamato rotating with him. Take a look at this.
I think in this most recent patch, oh yeah, this is a cluster.
Huge fight. She basically got ult and then rotated immediately.
Yeah.
And you see she hit healing right on the way over is really good. It gives you sprint speed. So while you're also healing, on the way over, very nice. Good trade.
Yamato's missing.
We get the Yamato missing, a little bit after she's already here in ganking.
A little bit late, but that's okay.
I imagine that was about 50-50, and you notice here, this Lash is actually freezing this lane. So yeah. Yamato goes over, and he just sits here, and he's letting the creeps, beat each other up, and is trying to deny this Yamato of her last hits. Every minion that dies to the minions is just money she's not getting. So that's excellent. If he's not, I wonder if he was not worried about getting the Guardian, that he said, "All right, I'll pick it up later," or if it's a he didn't think he could take it and let's just freeze.
Yeah, I think in this most recent patch especially, maybe the reason he's not rotating is because now that he's gotten a few kills, he can really soak up his lane, and that's a better use of his time rather than rotating. Kills give a little bit more now though, so I would have expected an early rotation.
And yeah, and from that rotate, Yamato definitely caught up to Lash here, and he's just been staying in lane. So Yamato caught up to Lash, so they're about even now. And an ult there. She's looking to fight definitely right now, and it's the 11-11 patch currently, or the 11-10, whatever day it came out. My advice is if you see Yamato ult, unless she's extremely low, you should probably just leave. Don't fight her on top of her ult. It's so scary. She's so strong. She has so many resistances. It's typically not worth it. You saw she got really low, and then when she ulted, Lash just left. You don't need to fight her.
She cleanses everything that's on top of her too. So if you think that it's going to, if you've got some proc of Heal Bane or something like that on her that's going to affect her healing, I don't believe that it actually does. There it is. There's
that's cool. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not disappointing. This is exactly what I would expect. And what's funny is that no Guardians have been taken down in this game either.
Yeah.
So like, they're fairly even. I wonder if he's going to come over here and try to get this camp. That's what I would do if I was if I felt nice and ahead. And like I said, he's pretty even with this Yamato, but obviously he's comfortable in this matchup.
He's very comfortable, and he's just going to face the Guardian and get rid of it. And now I think we're going to start seeing, after he pushes her out of lane one last time, we're going to see him start moving around and doing what Lash does best.
Yeah, still no ults from Lash yet. We have he's going back and buying. McGinnis here doing these camps early. These are excellent. If you are a character who can take these at a reasonable speed, and you can get some pressure doing these, it's worth so many souls. They're extremely good.
It looks like McGinnis even saved up for that. Looked like Tesla rounds,
yep,
which is
Tesla
an interesting thing to save up for.
So likely a gun McGinnis. She's going to be looking to farm, and then maybe her team comp has a little bit of a influence on that. They don't really have a great... I mean, Eternus is a good late game carry, but he's very spirit damage, so I think all the McGinnis builds right now are pretty good. Ooh, very excellent.
Yeah.
And the bird doesn't find anything. I like how early he dumped that.
Great talent.
It's really what's it called? Like when you throw that bird, you really want it to find something to do something, but it's it's okay to just dump it. If it wasn't a good bird and you're not gonna be able to get anything off of it, just explode that bird. It's not a big deal.
The cooldowns are not like that big of a deal, especially early like this. Later, you're going to have even better cooldowns, and it's better to just throw something away like that and just try for something rather than saving it. I see a lot of people saving their abilities for the perfect situation, but really you should just be, kind of trying to throw them out and see what you can get off of them sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of them are just not really that... Oh, man, that was a very surprising turnaround. Huge damage from the Viscous, so this... oh, that wasn't even a bounce. Holy... That was a ton of damage. That was really surprising. I thought that was a really good shoulder charge and engage there. Ooh.
Yeah, and even better, their McGinnis lived because of that. She was so low, and she popped down the healing and sat tight while Viscous saved her.
Yeah, no healing reduction on Abrams. I think healing reduction is actually kind of hard to pick up on Abrams. Like, what are your options? Toxic Rounds is not excellent on him, and Heal Bane is also... It's not really doing that much spirit damage.
He definitely seems like more the type of character that, because he's in the game, you're kind of reducing your opponent's income by the fact that they have to buy a certain weapon to counter you, or a certain item to counter you. So maybe he just doesn't care about it and just does whatever he wants. I can't believe that.
I can't believe she got stuck on this little plant over here. That was really sad to watch, actually.
Right inside the electric ball, right where everyone wants to be standing.
Yeah, she was on the electric chair over here. This is also another thing that I don't do enough personally, is rotating through these tunnels, first off, is really fast, and second off, there's a lot of boxes and faces down there. Like, it's really good for a little bit of extra souls. Oh, excellent little rollout there.
That was great.
Very, very cool Viscous play. And I bet they noticed the trap and rolled into it and gooed, like, intentionally to eat it up.
Yeah.
Bird there, yeah, hits, but Viscous is fine. It's such a monster.
Viscous has a really interesting role to play in this situation, where even Viscous is a little bit behind right now, and even though Viscous is behind, the way that Viscous can play can make them still very difficult to deal with. Maybe not get as many kills as other characters, but be a general nuisance and a chaos causer.
Yeah, and they can... Oh, and I thought he was making out of there. That was a really nice trade for being 1v3 over there. I mean, instead of just having his life thrown away, that was a really nice little turnaround. Yeah. Warden, again, very excellent trades.
Yeah. I think Warden was trying to backdoor the Guardian there.
Oh yeah, that's very possible. In this patch, all the structures are really squishy. Again, we have this Yamato Lash standoff. Still about even. I'm really surprised there was no Yamato ult there. I wonder if it's better to save it for after the ult.
Yeah,
because he heals you so much now.
Yeah, wait for the heal opportunity. She popped healing right for a little bit more there.
Yeah, and she still has it. Lash climbing up high, looking for trouble. I'm sure he knows the top of this map better than most people know the bottom of it.
Him hiding behind a little vent there, like she was going to see
sneaky, him. Yeah. I'm sure they're looking. Huge engage from that Warden. That was pretty deep. I wonder if he had a good plan or if he just didn't know everyone was there.
Yeah.
I think he's doing pretty good on his team. Looks like he's primarily a gun build.
Let's take out McGinnis.
I've seen this happen a couple times already this game, but you'll see something with Viscous where when he cubes, you could still apply procs and status effects to him from your items, so things like Pocket's damage amp or Paradox's damage amp from the Q, and 7 stun. You'll see a couple of those things pop down on top of the cube even when it's there, just because you can still proc them even when the cube is active.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you'll notice as you get into higher rated games, is just everyone knows all the mechanics of the characters. At this first level, no one knows any of the mechanics, and things happen, you don't really know why. And then the second level I like to think of as, the character you play and all their mechanics, and you know them great. but you don't necessarily know the other characters you're not playing. You know their abilities, but not things like the cube. You can still debuff them, and even though it doesn't, affect them, it still does apply it. And once they're out of that cube, it will start affecting them. Yamato's ult was the same way. I believe it still is, where she's immune to crowd control effects, but you can still, like if you put bleed on her and then her ult ends, she starts taking damage from the bleed.
Yeah. That was a huge pocket ult.
Yeah, huge paradox ult too. This pocket's doing a lot of damage. She's extremely far ahead. Ooh, 7 and 1.
Yeah.
Very typical items I see on Pocket. You got this cold front earlier than I see a lot of times. Last time I was playing Pocket, I wasn't grabbing that so early. Maybe the damage from it is really good.
Yeah, cold front is an item that I have almost no experience with. Oh wow, that was great.
That was awesome. Did you see Lash? He used his ability to jump and then wall jumped off the wall for just a little bit more height.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, really, if you're newer at this game, you should be reading, everything on your abilities. His if you really want to get good at someone, at least his little whip where he can get an extra jump, it resets all of his air dashes and his wall jumps and everything like that. So you'll see it moving around up there a lot.
And even just I really like to recommend, spending 5 minutes in a sandbox. Sure, it's not the most exciting thing for everyone, and when they get, when you get on the game, you wanna play a game and play a match. But that 5 minutes in a sandbox could be worth 10 games of experience to just using your abilities and kind of messing around.
Yeah,
it's super valuable. We'll see if Warden gets out of this. He has ult, and I'm sure they know this. Oh man.
Oh, it's not looking. Oh, and first coming in.
I'll pop in here. Yamato came in too. This is not looking good though. This looks like a real big overcommitment. Good kill on Lash.
Yeah.
In Pocket's here now. We know he's a monster.
4-7.
Yeah, 4-7. His ultimate still is not very good right now. Very smart to come here and clear those minions. He doesn't have to chase the kill.
A lot of
while
people
the whole thing's happening, Paradox is here taking this walker.
Yeah, they'll see people running away like that and try to chase them, and then those 2 minions will stall an entire wave and make your push impossible afterwards.
Yeah, or I mean, I've seen that happen where, and I've done it myself, where I chase kills and then I lose the structure just because, there was 8 minions on my thing.
Right.
That was awesome she got the trade. I would have been happy to just take the walker and die, but this Paradox doing a ton of damage. We'll have to look at her headshots at the end of this game.
If you look at the map here, you'll see this big fight that's happening with Yamato and all of them, but you saw Warden, before that was happening, was pushing up his own lane. I think that's another really good thing that a lot of people don't do early on, is they see a fight, they want to get involved, but what you should be doing is shoving your lanes first so that when you win the fight, you have something important to do after it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I find that fights in this game are either lightning quick or pretty slow. So a lot of times, even if you would have left right away, sometimes that fight's over by the time he gets there, and now he's not pushing a wave. And this Lash movement is so good. He's so fast across the map. But yeah, taking that little bit of extra time to clear that wave, and then you still get to, that Warden still got to show up to the fight and be involved. But now, the fight isn't contingent on getting something. He already pushed that wave.
Yeah.
It's nice. I feel like it's been a pretty slow game. Some skirmishes here and there, but and then again, this is kind of what I expect from higher level games. It's not just constant fighting. It's a he's in this little spot. He hears something.
Looking for somebody. Oh no!
I wonder if he's gonna get him. He's really aggressive about this. Wow, that. Oh, and Lash with him as well.
Yeah.
That was surprising. I wonder if he really thought he could get that kill. And they have so many people over here. That was excellent. He just came in and caused that pressure. And then he left.
And then they can fall back on this fight that's happening behind them too.
Yeah, that's another great thing that I've seen from this Pocket is, so he had that fight. He did damage that Warden. He made that Warden back off, but then he didn't stand there with the rest of his team and take. Oh, did I? I think I just slowed down the game. Oh, bear with me.
Oh,
There
this
we
is
go.
kind of sick though.
I did. That was kind of cool. I'll have
When the
to
action
use
when the
that.
action starts happening, we can enter the replay cam.
Yeah. Oh man, these ceiling fights from these players are so cool. Just something. I don't know
That
where
Yamato,
Pocket went, dude. He's gone.
that Yamato grapple was crazy. It's just traveled around walls and through buildings and.
Whoa, almost gets out of there even. But yeah, what I was saying is when they got that structure, instead of Pocket standing there with the rest of his team getting that walker, they already had the walker. They didn't need him there. He was happy to go and do something else on that map and be important.
Yeah.
You know,
When you're in those situations, you should be asking yourself, like, realistically, how many people is it going to take to do this? Am I more useful somewhere else?
Yeah, absolutely. These
Excellent
fights
swap.
are incredibly scrappy and the movement's insane. I mean,
Oh,
oh
the
man,
mid boss killed him. That's sad.
poor guy on the 7v6 mid boss on the Amber team here.
7v6.
And you know what's interesting is the lead from Amber here isn't even that large. They got a pretty good early team. You know, 7 is obviously is going to need some farm to kind of get going, but you know, a lot of their team, even this Grey Talon, this Abrams, really strong early. So I'm not surprised that even though the souls are close, that these fights don't feel particularly close. You know, 30 to 18 on these kills.
Right. They have a lot of wealth concentration in Pocket, so there's kind of this hope that they'll be able to use that to transfer some wealth to other people. Otherwise, you know, everyone's still kind of just going to fall in the same way except for Pocket, and that's not really going to be good for those big team fights later.
Yeah, and he's somewhat fragile to have all that wealth on. I mean, not too bad. Obviously, he's really slippery.
Yeah.
But you know, if he dies in a team fight, this could be scary if he falls early. But their CC isn't even that great on the blue team.
I'll die on the hill of Pocket only being, you know, a mid-game character, and once it gets late game, there's nothing. Your job is to dive in, poison everyone, and then die yourself.
Yeah, good trade there. McGinnis pushing up with her turrets, even though I believe he's very gun focused. It's incredible how much play they get out of the entire map. That I mean, I use these roofs to go from point to point sometimes. And yeah, sure, occasionally someone runs up there, but I mean, all the fighting that gets done up on these is crazy. The characters with this movement who can get up here, they get up here constantly.
Wow. Viscous using the angled roof there to bounce off and get extra speed to run away in the ultimate was so great.
Viscous players are something else. All the movement, and I think that's a big thing if you see Gun Viscous and you think it's a cool and a build that you want to do, is you really have to make the most out of all the movement that you get out of this character. You know, the punches, the ult. Even though you're not building spirit to make these things do a lot of damage, it makes you super mobile. It's ridiculous. I think this is the first urn we've seen in this game, which is actually really surprising.
Yeah. Urn is scary to run. It's very easy to turn into your enemy. So I think picking the right time to do it is still something. Oh, and they're all grouping up for these 2 or 3 camps. I think that shows how important they are too.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, a great thing to do while you're holding urn is just because you have the urn doesn't mean you have to go slam it right away, right? He hangs out, he does a camp. They're gonna do some positioning and see if this is actually worth putting in here. You know, blue can't just sit 6 people on this. It's, you know, they have a push here, and this is for the urn. You know, they know that the urn is happening here. When the urn is in play, it's not that every player needs to be here, but every player needs to be doing something that facilitates either this turn in or this defense.
Right.
Oh, he does get the turn in, dies for it. That's not too bad as long as they don't lose too many. Lash running. Interesting ult from Yamato. I bet they turn. Yep.
That was smart.
Very good awareness, not just chase that kill to turn around and get the one that they can get.
Yep. Look at your map, listen to your teammates' callouts and all that good stuff.
Yep. Lash being incredibly slippery here. Oh, man.
That was awesome. I see Yamato. He's being slippery, and he's also not he won't stop fighting, which is great. He's able to move around so much, but he's not just running. He's causing that incremental damage.
Yeah, and he's playing safe, but also trying to play in such a way that he's still affecting the game. And that was an excellent chase by Mirage. That Lash would have lost me for sure. I mean, he very obviously knows every, that little grate, all these little spots.
He was making the cameraman work overtime.
yeah, for sure. It's definitely
flying after him.
I'm practicing my my Vindicta flying around here. It's like the same controls, and kind of not surprisingly, because Lash died there, Yellow did take that Walker. He didn't have the support of the rest of his team because they were doing an objective, and that's probably fine. Super fast boss. Everyone shows up. And you see they fan out a little bit. You want to have a couple people in here, getting the parry, going for the heavy. But having people out there to scout and stop them from entering the pit at all is super valuable. You just want to make sure that not everyone decides they want to do that and everyone leaves the pit. I've seen that a couple times.
That was an interesting owl from Grey Talon. I'm not really sure why they tried to owl the Rejuvenator at the end there. That was interesting. Maybe trying to get them to like waste some ults or something in case they were going to get jumped.
Yeah, maybe just overabundance of caution. The cooldowns aren't super accurate on the replay, but it'll be back up pretty quick. Really nice push back here, and most of their lanes are already pushed, which is great. And these the super creeps from the Rejuvenator are going to do a really good job of keeping everything pushed. So this is what you want to do off of a Rejuvenator. Get in here and make plays. And this Viscous is holding this Pocket back here forever.
Yeah.
I think Pocket needs to get back here and help the team.
Oh, here it comes.
Here it comes. Oh. Yeah. I love what they've done with this room. This room is so interesting to fight in.
Yeah, it's way better than it used to be.
Yeah, like all these little pillars and walls, and
also a great place to run.
And exits.
Also a great place to run through when you're rotating because there's a ton of boxes and and statues in there.
Way more than you think. If you think you know where all the boxes are there, you're probably wrong. There's so many. You're probably gonna die here on this McGinnis. She's pretty quick, but
so fast, so tanky.
Just looking to try to get a couple of structures. I'm sure she's just using the rejuve and just being happy to try to get whatever. But I don't know. Looked a little aggressive. You can check on some builds here. Looks like she's actually more turret focused.
Yeah.
With a little bit of hybrid options, but a lot of spirit options on her.
The Tesla Bullet's really interesting. I don't know if that's standard for McGinnis. I think that's a lot of money early just to maybe help her farm get online faster, but...
Yeah, I mean, it really helps her push, but her push is, like, as far as pushing waves, is kind of weak. She doesn't have a great way to kill the minions really fast. I mean, like, you don't want to use the wall for it. The turrets have a really long cooldown, so maybe it's just for that, but... Yeah, I agree. An interesting choice. Got gun, Grey Talon, gun Paradox. That's not surprising. Pocket has so much money that
Pocket is everything Pocket.
Everything Pocket. Yeah, I mean, a lot of spirit.
Oh
items.
My!
That was a big bag.
Oh, he's got Colossus walking around, big man on campus.
Yamato basically in a little bit 3v1 over here, but with her ult, I mean, she's so big. The second it runs out, she dies.
Yeah.
Try to get the trade. That's probably correct for Yamato. At some point, you're kind of all in. Open the bag, trading hands.
Who will turn in the bag?
or is it just gonna? I mean, now it's on this Abrams, and he's 3-6, but he's huge. Look at my life points he's got. 3 people dead.
Sitting at a casual 52k.
Yeah, absolutely enormous. I mean, 15-2, Leech, Spiritual Overflow. And yeah, you see that once we won that fight, a core of the team went and tried to start a push, but the 7, this Grey Talon, you got to push back these waves. You can't just push one wave in and try to take the fight. It's really nice if you can get this whole lane pressure and then try to go for something. Ooh, this is a view you don't typically see. Well, maybe sometimes. The game is in alpha.
Something I think is interesting about this is that our Lash player has actually been behind on souls for the majority of this game, but he's still trying to find ways to be useful. Lash plays from a location that most of the cast can't interact with, so he's trying to be as annoying as possible, farm when he can, but he needs to be there when his ult can really have an impact on the game. And even at very low souls, he's not afraid to be there, so he's not just going to give up and go farm and be by himself for a really long time. He's still going to try and help everybody, even though he might be behind.
Really nice that Abrams letting Pocket take that. Recognizes
Yeah.
that Abrams is not the strongest character on their team, and it is indeed Pocket. Let's get him the bridge buff. Those
Right.
bridge buffs are enormous. I think.
I also think that specific buff is better on Pocket too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you know, see that buff and call it out to your teammates. Don't just grab it yourself if you don't immediately need it.
Yeah, don't let the enemy take it, but Pocket was right there. Hey, Pocket, come grab this. You're gonna be huge, huge chase down your. I mean, there's no way he gets away from this, right? Well, we're sliding through. Hides in the corner, but not quite. I can't believe they all chased that together. That was very interesting to stay as a team like that.
Yep. Yamato clearing a wave before everything gets bad and then coming back to help.
Yeah, and you have some of the team. Everyone, they all know Eternus is here, but a few of them go for him. But the other ones, they're just pushing. They don't need to chase this guy. He's going to try to be as squirrely as possible, but not chasing him is almost as good as killing him. What's Eternus doing right now?
Yeah.
He's effectively dead.
Objectives are just knocking more of that timer off of the end of the game. It just makes it so much easier to win when you have a snowball at the end.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what they do here. I find in a lot of our games, trying to end after you get the patron weakened is pretty tough.
Yeah.
So.
And just like you said, there goes Eternus.
Yeah. Eventually, he's had such a hard time getting in here.
Yeah.
It's
and he can't just sit there and do nothing. He's got to try something, right?
Yeah.
Great ult by Pocket. Huge.
Yeah, it's so hard to. You can't leave when you have that poison on you. It's a nightmare to fight like that. Ooh, really good swap from Paradox. She almost lived through that.
The Hail Mary.
Yep. This 7 ult, it's a nightmare to deal with on defense. It just kills all the minions instantly.
Yeah.
That was an excellent game.
Right.
Some of those fights were super cool, very interesting to watch.
It was really cool seeing Pocket jump in there to ult to kind of say, we're closing this, we have something, we can close out the game right now. I'm going to dump this on them so that if they choose to jump out here and fight us, it's going to be that much harder for them to win. I thought that was a really awesome choice.
Yeah, and it's, it's not just jumping in there because we're so far ahead, like, oh, let's get crazy. That was a really strategic, let me put the poison on them, and now it's so hard for them to fight.
Yeah, I think even if Pocket died in there, they would have still been able to do that because, like you said, you can't really leave the fountain while that's happening.
Yeah, you can't fight with that ult on you. It's a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
not surprising.
Debuff reducer and debuff remover moment. Everyone sing its praises.
Yep, and you see Warden has, and will it show me here? No, it won't show me who has it. Warden bought it. Wow, really? Only Warden bought it.
That's it.
Very surprising.
Yeah,
not surprising. Pocket has the most damage here. He was out of control.
Yeah.
And back to your point about playing from behind. I think it's good to recognize what characters are good when playing from a soul disadvantage and just being okay being in that spot. Like Viscous, actual monster from behind, is so good at split pushing. You're so hard to kill in this goo ball, even if you are behind, that you can just run around fight stunning people. You don't need to do a bunch of damage. If you have someone else on your team who's going to carry, facilitate them. You don't have to go run and farm and just be like, oh, I need to get so many souls to get back in this game. Viscous is still in the game. Goo ball, Puddle Punch, and same thing with Abrams. Shoulder charges, ult. These are huge abilities that you don't need to be super far ahead to have an impact.
And when you're playing from behind, you just, someone like Viscous, like for your example, you push a lane all the way out, you get a bunch of farm to help yourself catch back up, and then when they engage with you, you just push your ult button and just run away for free, right? Your ult is going to be back up by the time that you're going to re-engage with someone. You might as well just be annoying and get as many souls as you can to try to keep yourself relevant, and you don't ever have to die for it. It's great.
Yeah, and it's you farming and getting ahead, but also helping your team instead of just putting your head down and sitting in the jungle. Pushing those waves is still causing pressure for your team. I mean, that someone has to come deal with you. So
Yeah. I think that's one of the bigger problems with Seven right now is that if Seven falls behind, he's really got to spend a lot of time by himself in the corner trying to sometimes not doing very much trying to catch back up, but that's neither here nor there. Every character is different, and every character has to be relevant and catch back up in a different way.
yeah, absolutely. I think that was a very excellent Lash showcase. Even though he's not the highest kill MVP player, uh, just awesome to watch.
Yeah,
Very cool. Something. I mean, I want to go and play a Lash game right now, just after
yeah,
watching some of the stuff that guy was doing. Yeah, Johnson, thanks for joining me. This was a lot of fun. I mean, this is something that we would have just done and not recorded it, and just sat around doing. So,
definitely.
hopefully,
Well,
if anyone else likes this, let us know in the comments. I'm sure we'll be reading all of them, and I would love to do it again.
yeah, we should definitely do it again. That was awesome.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys, and you guys have a good one. Good luck out there.